Very good. We're going to start with our onions. We're going to saute onions and garlic until they start to caramelize. And I have my pan on medium to high heat. I'm going to add a little bit of water, not much. Okay. Okay. Want to make sure that my onions caramelize and don't burn. So we want to make sure that we stir them around and add a little bit of water here and there. If you add too much water to it, you actually steam the onions. We don't want that. If we want our vegetables steamed, we can do that in a steamer. So that's why we just add a little bit of water. The key to great flavor is caramelizing your onions. If you don't caramelize them, you actually, I mean, you can do this for white applications. For instance, if you have a white sauce, such as cauliflower soup or potato soup, you don't caramelize your onions because your soup would get brown. And in this case, it doesn't matter because eggplant is sort of brown. It's fine. It actually adds a lot of flavor to it. And I do this with every other vegetable, like the eggplants, the mushrooms. I'd like to caramelize them. So now it's time to add our eggplant. And everyone likes their eggplant differently cut. So especially if you're an eggplant lover, some people like it a little chunky. Some people like it really, really soft and cut into small cubes. It's really up to you. You have to find a preference what works for you. So eggplant is probably one of the most tricky vegetables you can saute without water because they absorb any kind of liquid. So luckily we're not using oil. If you were using oil, you have to use quite a bit of it. So what you can do is with eggplant to make them drier. Some people soak them in salt, which I'm not a fan of. You can do this. I know it's an old Italian secret, so to speak, but I don't like to do this because you're actually drawing out your nutrients when you add salt on it. A little bit of water. And you see, I only add a little bit at a time. The more water you add to it, the cooler the pan becomes. So you want to make sure that you only add a tiny little bit of water just to loosen the vegetables from the bottom of the pan. So if you like, you could add a little bit of salt to it. If you cook with salt, salt is always optional. So now they're halfway sauteed. I'm going to add my mushroom. A bit of water. I'm going to add my pepper and my okra. So now it's very important that we actually add our spices to it. I'm not going to add as many spices as shown in the recipe. But these spices add a tremendous amount of flavor. So I added turmeric, curry, and cumin. Incredible flavors develop out of this. A bit more cumin, turmeric. Tiny little bit of water. Towards the end, when the dish is almost ready, we want to make sure that we add enough liquid to it so that we develop a sauce. That's very important. You don't want the vegetables too dry. So towards maybe 3, 4 minutes, 5 minutes before the dish is finished, we add a little bit more water, maybe a quarter cup. Let it reduce a little bit. Let it mingle with the flavors, so we get a beautiful sauce out of it. Very important. You don't want the vegetables too dry. Okay. I was just reading the comments. Sherry made a good question. Am I subtracting the water, the liquid, from the amount of water that I give on the recipe? Yes and no. I actually have stopped giving you concrete beverage, or let's say water amounts, what you use for any type of recipe, because simply, you see, I'm using a lot of water while I saute my vegetables. Everyone is completely different. You may saute your vegetables 5 minutes shorter than I do. So that is a fundamental difference. So if I tell you to use 1 quart of water, you probably had soup by the end of the day. That's why it is so important to get the basics down. The basics is basically making sure that you saute your vegetables thoroughly, caramelize one by one. Well, right now we're trying to caramelize all these vegetables. And it's very difficult to give you the exact amount of water you need or broth. So that's why I want you to develop a skill to see how much water you use. I used to give the exact amount of broth or water you need for any dish, but then I got comments like, "Oh, my dish was too soupy or was too dry," and I don't like this. So from that point of view, I would rather have you learn the basics on how to saute these vegetables correctly. And then towards the end, as I mentioned before, you add a little bit more water than usual for broth, and that will become your sauce. I will show you how to do this. So cooking without oil is, you have to stand by the pan, you have to make sure you pay attention to your vegetables. Okay, so the trick for the okra not to become too slimy, so to speak, is to add a little bit of lemon juice. Just a little bit. If you see the veggies starting to caramelize on the bottom, okay, you want to make sure that we add a little bit of water and clean the bottom of the pan. It should be always clean so that they don't burn. Sometimes you have to move them from one side to another. Because you don't want your vegetables to burn. Now's the time to add just a little bit of salt if you want to. It's really optional. We're almost there. A little bit of water first. So you can put about up to half a lemon in here. And I just realized that I did not add my tomatoes. I'm gonna add some now. The recipe called for diced tomatoes, which should be right now from a can, because you don't want to buy tomatoes because they're not in season. And the cherry tomatoes are grown in a greenhouse gas. So greenhouse. So that's fine. So this is your perfect vegetable stew. You can make a stew with any type of vegetables. This is obviously made with eggplant and okra. You can use any type of vegetable. The key is that you saute the onions and garlic, and then you add any type of vegetables you prefer. Okay. Yeah, good question, Sharon. What temperature is the water at saute with? This is currently room temperature. If you have hot water available, that's even better. That speeds up your cooking process. Yes. So Sherry's asking if you can substitute okra with zucchini. Yes, absolutely, works perfectly. Remember, zucchini doesn't take long, so put zucchini all the way towards the end into the dish. Okay. So now is the time when we have to taste the stew. We're almost there. You want to make sure that you taste your food before it's ready. I mean, it sounds logic, but you want to try your food at least 2-3 times during the cooking process. Hmm. I'm going to turn the temperature down a little bit. Now we're going to add some beans. And then the dish. Okay. I'm using canned white beans, panini. You can use dry beans if you like. You just have to soak them overnight before you use them. And you can tell my vegetables starting to stick on the bottom. We want to make sure we clean this off because this is flavor. This is pure flavor. And soon it's time to create our sauce. So all these flavors on the bottom of our pan, they also thicken our sauce. Now it's the time to add a little bit more water to it. And you see the vegetables become a little bit more liquefied. So bring it to a boil. I see Susan has asked what are okra. I want to show you one in just a second. This is the last few moments of this vegetable stew. White sea salt. So I used frozen okra, which are actually from our backyard, and I froze them in the summer, and now I'm using them whenever I can. These are okra, very, very healthy, especially for the men. It's good for prostate, but it's also delicious and healthy for women. Okay, we are about to be finished. Whenever you add liquid to it, you always have to taste after you add liquid, because every time you add something to a dish, the texture and the flavor profile changes. You want to make sure you taste it. Turn down the temperature now, and that's it. Yep, that's it. Okay. That's our eggplant and okra stew. A very, very simple dish. As you can see, very simple. It didn't even take 20 minutes to make. And the eggplant actually take a little bit longer than usual. Most other vegetables take a lot shorter than eggplant. Let's see what we have. Thank you, everyone. I love this dish. So this is one of my favorite dish. But you know what? On the meal plan, I actually added dal to it. This is one of my favorites. I like eggplant stew with rice and beans and dal. This is one of my favorites. And so it's up to you if you cook dal and add it to it, but I love it. The combination is just beautiful. Okay, let's see if we have any questions. Well, I answered that. Okay. Oh, that's nice, Pamela. The food always looks delicious. Thank you. It's very simple. I mean, there's nothing to it. Maybe because I've been doing it for 30 years, but I think it's the easiest cooking I can imagine. It's so simple. Okay, let's see if we have any questions about the meal plans. On the meal plan, we have our rapid hummus salad, or you have sauteed veggies. For that is Monday. For lunch, you have eggplant stew with rice and beans, and for dinner, you have a salad and pumpkin chili soup. Let's see. Any questions concerning those? Yes, Sherry, thanks. Yeah, it's one of my favorite foods. Okay, good. Let's see if we have any other questions about the meal plans. Here's the thing. If you find yourself there's too much food on the meal plan, just omit one of the dishes. That's not a problem. So for instance, you could be eating the eggplant stew for the next few days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. In a night, you could be eating the pumpkin chili soup for the next 3 days. And in the morning, you could have either the sauteed vegetables or the red beet hummus salad. You can have, the key is that you have 3 different meals every day. Very, very important. Meaning breakfast a different one, lunch a different one, and dinner a different one. So that's important. But you can eat those for the next 3-4 days, because all the 3 meals combined have different ingredients, different nutrients. So they help you go through the day and give you the energy you need. That's very important to know. So, but we have some members who they just want every other day a different meal. Some of them really want every day a different meal. I think it's too much. It's too much cooking. I personally cook one meal that is good for the next 3 days, and then I cook another one for the next 3 days. So that's how I do it. But some members just like to have a different meal every other day. And I understand. That's why we do batch cooking on Sunday. You cook, for instance, you cook today the eggplant stew, you cook the cabbage rolled, and you cook one of the soups. So that gets you going for the next 3-4 days. So that means you have at least food until Thursday, at least for lunch. And then you have the soup. Yes, you needed to cook the quinoa cakes, which are on Tuesday, but you don't have to. You can eat the pumpkin chili soup for the next 3-4 days and then have the quinoa cakes. It's really up to you. But important is that you have 3 different meals per day with different ingredients. Keep in mind, you want, about 1/3 of starchy vegetables, 1/3 non-starchy vegetables, and 1/3 green leafy vegetables. So you want a mixture of that. So all day long, at least throughout the day, if you put all the foods together, that's what it should come down to. Oh yeah, Colleen is asking if the recipes have been posted. Yes, I sent out an email. You should have gotten an email.
Yes, they're posted. Let's see. We have some more questions here. Can we substitute dal for the rice and beans? Yeah, absolutely. Remember, rice and beans is a complete protein, so that's fine. And then you can add the stew, the vegetable, the eggplant stew, and you're good. Actually, pumpkin are available throughout the winter. So I know they're popular in November, December, but they are available throughout the winter time. That's why I used it. If you can use winter squash if you like. You can use any type of squash, or butternut is perfect for that. You can use butternut instead of pumpkin. See what other comments we have. I know, Sherry. Lots of stores are very low. I saw it too. I didn't get enough mushrooms either, and some of the vegetables are not in good condition right now. That's because of the weather. I mean, here in the Northeast, the weather has been crazy, and I think throughout the country it has been a little bit on the crazy side. So if you don't find the ingredients on the meal plan, substitute them with whatever you can find, and cook your recipes or the meals, as similar as you can. As long as you cook without oil, you're fine. Okay, let's see if should we use fenugreek or seeds, ground or seeds? You can use either one you want. You can use the seeds. When you use the seeds, you have to expose them to the heat to open up the flavor. You can do that. I like to use ground, so I don't have to expose them too much to the heat, because we don't use oil. If you use oil, then the seeds are better, because they open up in the pan. The flavor is opening up, which is absolutely incredible. If you don't get fenugreek, don't worry, just omit it. That's fine. Okay, good. So when it comes to the rewards day, just keep in mind, rewards day is to reward you for being faithful to the menu all week long. And then on a Saturday, you can splurge a little bit. And what I mean by splurging is not, yes, you can have a 16-ounce steak. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, yes, you can have a plant-based burger, anything what reminds you to your previous eating style, anything you crave, but it should be plant-based. And if it's a Impossible Burger or Beyond Burger, yes, it's okay. That's fine. I wouldn't eat it too often, but that's okay. What I mean by rewarding is go to the movies, have some popcorn, enjoy yourself, have a great afternoon. That's what I'm talking about. Reward yourself for being good all week. So the Saturday or Sunday, you can celebrate. Okay, it's very, very important to celebrate your success. Really important. By the end of the week, you want to be proud of yourself, happy that you followed the meal plan. You probably lost a few pounds. You feel so much better. This is very important that you celebrate your success. Very, very important. Yes, plant-based pizza is fine. Just this one time doesn't do any damage. The meal plan are designed to work as long as they're whole food plant-based. The 1 day, if you splurge a little bit is okay. But one tip is the closer you stay to a whole food plant-based lifestyle, meaning to that menu here, the more weight you will lose. That's for sure. Okay. Yes, Sherry saying can't wait to try the quinoa cakes. Yes, they are, they're very, very simple to make. When you cook your quinoa, you want to make sure you rinse it first. Very, very important. If you don't rinse your quinoa, it's going to have a nasty aftertaste. You don't want this. So rinse them thoroughly, then cook them. The trick is to get them sticky is to overcook them by just a minute. The water has to be absorbed completely, and then you steer them, keep steering them, and once you see those little quinoa have a little ring on them, that's when you know they're ready. Very simple, and then you form your cakes out of it. It's very delicious, and you can freeze them. You could make a whole batch of them, use them. You can easily freeze them for 2 or 3 months and use them whenever you need. Do you have a recipe for garlic sauce? Are you talking about a Chinese garlic sauce, or what kind of sauce are you asking, Pamela? I have red and regular quinoa. Does it make a difference? No, you can use either one. That's fine. Yeah, Pamela, let me know if you are talking about Chinese sauce or any other sauce. Okay. Jerry made a good comment here. You can find washed quinoa in some grocery stores. Make sure that the quinoa is not cooked. Do not use pre-cooked quinoa. You cannot make the cakes out of them. It's impossible. It will not stick because the quinoa is cooked, and it's not going to stick. It's cooked to perfection, and it wouldn't stick because they have added oil to it. So it's very important that. Okay, good. So Jerry said it needs cooking. Okay, cool. Very good. Let's see if we have any other questions here. So when I have a veggie pizza, it has a garlic sauce instead of cheese. Perfect. Yeah, that's fine. That's okay. Make sure that the garlic sauce doesn't have butter in it. So you don't want that because that's going to ruin the whole dish. You're going to eat 1,000 calories with that pizza. So you don't want it. Okay. Always try to think how the restaurant or the cook would cook the sauce. What would he put in there? And that's why it's so important to know the basics of cooking. Once you know that, you know exactly what the cook may put into the garlic sauce. That's very important. You want to know. Sometimes they use oil, and I guess in this case it would be okay, even though it's we don't want to cook with too much oil, but it could be tomato sauce. Yeah, I don't think it's tomato sauce, but it could be. I think it is a buttery or an oily garlic sauce. If you're talking about pizza, or it could be how you call it? A basil Parmesan oil mixture. Yeah, absolutely. I understand, Pamela. Yeah, very good, very good. This is it's very important to ask those questions. Very important. Good. Let's see. And Sunday is our detox day. I put 3 smoothies down. It's really up to you if you want to do it. This will give you your last day weight loss. So you're going to lose weight that last day. And obviously you're going through a detoxification phase again. But I think the last day, the Sunday, will make you finish the challenge strong. I think that's why I made it a smoothie day on Sunday. And then Monday, we have our weigh-in day. Cannot wait for this day. I have to tell you, I don't know if you saw my email earlier. Participants in this challenge is just incredible. We had over 767 people started the challenge, and up to yesterday, we had 411 who are still active in there. But obviously, not all of them are posting in there. But Facebook is giving me the insights of who's looking. Like there are people looking at the pictures, and so it's incredible. Another question here. On the stuffed cabbage recipe, is flax meal just ground flax seeds? Yes, correct. Yes, you can use, you can ground your flax seeds, or you can buy flax meal, which is the same. Okay, good. I think I have covered almost everything. Again, I'm very excited for our challenge ceremony, which is next week, Monday. And cannot wait to see who's the winner of this challenge. And well, let's see. It's going to be, I know this time it's going to be very close. What I wanted to mention is the email I sent earlier to all the challengers included a link to the Facebook group where I have revealed the top 10 challengers, and the race is very close between the first 5. So keep this in mind, and this is going to be a fantastic ending. Let's see. More question here. Okay. It's done. Good. Okay. If there's no more questions, I would say I'll see you tomorrow in the challenge, in the Facebook challenge. You may post your weight loss for tomorrow, for the week, for the last 3 weeks. I'm very excited to see how this is going. And then, yeah, I hope to see you next week, the following Monday, in our ceremony. It's going to be fun. It's going to be on Zoom, so we get to see each other. We get to celebrate each other. We talk about our experiences, and it's fun. Like I can promise you that. Good. Thank you so much for watching the batch cooking today. And by the way, this is the last time I went live on YouTube with this batch cooking. Then we go back into our membership, where I focus on our members, and then but I will certainly go live throughout the week with other cooking sessions, and you know, throughout the week you will see me doing other things than, you know, cooking, talking about a holistic plant-based lifestyle. Thank you so much, and have a great day, everyone. Be safe and think plant-based. If you saw this on YouTube, please give it a thumbs up if you liked it, if you like this live stream, and have a great day.